He's having a cigarette and having to be in the person.
So went to Matt said, right, thank you all for coming. This is my lecture. It's called Daimonics. Daimonics is the study of diamonds, or daemons.
Are we allowed to interject, or is that a no-no?
No interjecting unless it's really important.
Well, but hang on. You're very anti-structure in other people's lectures.
Okay, yeah, if you want to interject, but like...
You'd rather it's not. That's why
I was asking
You
the
said that you
question.
don't want to interject because it turned into a 5-minute conversation and we're going to be here all night, so maybe save questions for the end.
Yeah, but maybe give you a history of medicine.
If you have an important question you want to ask, I don't mind if you ask it. But like if it turns into a seminar,
important or conspiracy based?
I think we know how to deal with it.
Diamonds or daemons in Latin comes from the Greek word daimones, and it's basically the daemons are the intermediaries between the gods and humans. The idea being that the gods generally, although they do, but generally they don't interfere directly with humans. So they send people that are slightly human but slightly godlike to do their messages for them. And then the daemons will also bring back messages and sacrifice back to the gods. Go on.
No, this question, what do we call this?
Sorry?
What do we call this?
The creatures I'm describing, the beings?
The daemons?
Well, you can call them diamonds, you can call them daemons, or if you want to use the Greek, daimones.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, the daemons are benevolent or benign, they're not good or evil. Naturally, the word was eventually sort of corrupted by the Christians who decided that all daemons were demons, and they demonized them and they became evil. But originally, I mean, if you go to Asia, the idea of demons isn't necessarily always negative. Sometimes it has a positive meaning as well. So they're benevolent or benign nature spirits, beings, the same nature as both mortal and humans. Heraclitus, when you pronounce that, says that character is for man or woman, his or her diamond. So he's saying that not only is the intermediaries between the gods and humans, but also something to do with our character. Plato and Proclus says that the diamond designates not a specific class of divine being, but a particular peculiar mode of activity, a cult power that drives humans forward and acts against them. So again, something to do with our character, something to do with driving us. Next slide, please. So we first learned about this from Dharma of Manatea. She teaches Socrates that love is not a deity, but is in fact a great daemon. I'll be mentioning that a bit later if we get there. So everything daimonic is between divine and mortal. She describes daemons as interpreting or transporting human beings to gods and divine things to men, and entreaties and sacrifices from below, and ordinances and quantities from above. So basically, the intermediaries sending messages in either way. We generally can't experience the gods directly. Next slide, please. So, partly what I explained earlier is the Christians demonized the daemons, and there's a letter St. Paul saying, but I say the things to which the Gentiles sacrifice to the devil. The original word he uses is feminine daemons, and not to God. And I would say, I would not that he should have fellowship with devils. So basically, he's saying there was a lot of in early Christianity. There was a lot of worship of angels and still these kind of daimonic kind of characters. And St. Paul didn't like this. He was saying you worship God or you worship devils. So he was saying you cannot. And what happened though is the worship of angels and the Virgin Mary. This still. People couldn't let go of this. They still really wanted to do this. And even now, the angels are still pretty popular with Christians. Even though St. Paul specifically says you are not to worship God. There's also a suggestion that Jesus is daimonic because he's like half God and he's half man. And there's a lot of like hardcore Christians like that nutty group in America that say that you shouldn't be worshiping Jesus. It's like a false God. And I do. Next slide, please. So there are different categories of daemons, and we have elves. We have 3 different pictures of elves. Originally, elves were not as romanticized as they are now. So we have something maybe more like this, or even the original, the kind of Celtic maybe idea of elves was they were more human-like and not like so much like the characters that we have now, which you can kind of see here in this picture of meadow elves, where they kind of look more human rather than kind of like small creatures here. And then here, slightly later on, 1910, we've got very small people with Amanita muscaria hats on. Amanita muscaria being a hallucinogenic mushroom. And so there is kind of an odd link between hallucinogenics and elves, being that if you take it, there's a good chance you might see elves. Next slide, please. Okay, so go on.
Just missed the link between demons and elves.
Oh, so daemons is a general group, and I'm now giving you the different categories of daemons.
So an elf is a
An
demon.
elf would be a type of daemon.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's basically, everywhere you go around the world, you have small magical beings
Right. Implied things.
that people talk about, and elves being the kind of northern European version of that, Germanic version of that. Play the film. No, play the film.
I was.
You're back. Space bar.
Space.
Space.
Space goes to the next slide.
No.
Don't worry about the sound. It's a guy, I think he's in Canada, and he's filming a storm front coming in.
And it looks like a rabbit.
Silence.
A what?
Silence.
Looks like silence.
Did he?
Silence.
Silence. Someone who doesn't like instruction during other courses. Very interesting.
He's just panning around, looking at because he sees this big storm cloud coming through.
Wow, you see that? Well, that's nice.
This big cloud coming through.
Oh, they're Canadian. Shit, they're all Canadian. There's Canadians.
Oh, this guy is so boring.
See what it is yet?
A person. Monsters.
Island no.
It's a
There he is.
BBC.
There he is. I see him.
Oh, it's a cloud.
It is wrong.
It's a cloud.
Oh, no, it's both.
See it now?
See the nose. It's a cloud. Oh, the ear.
Pretty strong resemblance to a face.
And the beard. It's God.
Beard, ear, slightly evil looking face, remember?
Yeah.
Evil looking face. Wow.
A mischievous looking face, maybe.
Conjecture.
Yeah, you haven't seen Jesus on my toast, I made toast this morning.
Next slide, please.
Because we are cavemen and we are trained to see things each
Next
day.
slide, please.
It's got a very
Next slide, please.
Actual fact, I'm doing
And next slide, please.
Who's logic? Oh, he's going to go down.
Okay, so as well as things like elves, you've also got UFOs. UFOs are classically daimonic, being in that they're very difficult to pin down.
Identify.
Yeah, to identify, but they won't go away. They haven't gone away for 60, almost 70 years now. They will not go away.
So they came about.
Lots of people try to disprove and say, but it's still, there's a lot of things which you can't quite face. There's a lot of things that's seen by people
They
that
didn't exist before the 1950s then?
there's a lot of suggestions that they did exist, but they were called by different names. If you went to certain tribal areas in Africa and you saw lights in the sky, you would say they were witches.
Yeah, okay.
But then modern people interpret them as UFOs, the lights in the sky, that is. So So the idea is that the daemons are always there in human society, but they change their appearance, they change their clothes to suit the fashion of the time. So what would it be, a witch from before, or a will-o'-the-wisp, which is a kind of shining light in the countryside, would now be a UFO. Also, you have this is Bigfoot. Is he really clearly here?
Oh yeah, very clear.
Bigfoot, another daimonic creature. In fact,
That was me, sorry, that was, yeah. I didn't tell you.
Put your gillies in away.
I know, yeah.
the native peoples in the Americas and Canada talk about Bigfoot being a kind of a magical person. It's not something that you can objectify.
Is that a North American specific thing?
Yeah, he's been
No, because you have the Yeti as well. And also there's something in, I think maybe Russia as well.
I love being objectified.
But basically, the idea that you can't quite pin it down, it's not going to be something you're going to capture and exhibit in a zoo,
Right.
because it's elusive.
Yeah.
You can't quite. The same with Nessie. No matter how much people search for Nessie, although Loch Ness is incredibly deep, one of the deepest waters in Europe, so it's very difficult to actually explore all of it. You can't quite pin it down, and there's always talk of it. Big black cats. If you don't notice, there are a lot of pictures and a lot of footage of big black cats. It's not something. There was one in New Cross in 2013 in April in Southern Gateway. A woman said she saw a huge black cat. She said it was not a domestic cat. It was like a kind of panther. It was black. It was sitting on a kind of a dustbin thing when she got up for work in the morning. In April 2013, just down the road over there.
That's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, because they used to be wild, large cats in Britain.
But no one's ever caught one, and no one's ever presented an objectified object that you can prove it is.
So we recognise.
So maybe they don't.
Also, that's not that big. Like, if you compare it to the railway tracks, that's
Well, you could argue that it's a really small railway track. It could be
it's not unimaginable for cats.
but still, if it's a normal sized railway
Or like, it
track,
could be a badger.
that's still a big cat. But also, it's black. If you were going to get, you do have wild big cats in this
And it's
country.
got white ass as well.
You do have wild big cats in this country, but they're not black. They're kind of yellowy.
A cat is a very recognizable thing,
white.
whether it's a UFO, a Yeti, or a Loch Ness monster.
But the point is, it's elusive. People don't believe that we have big black cats in this country, and yet people keep on
I
seeing.
find that a lot more believable.
And of all the sightings of big black cats that people see, they're always black. So the point is that the big black cats are very rare. The idea of a panther, it's very rare. A panther is actually, I think, a leopard, but it has a kind of thing with its colouring which makes it black. But they're very rare in South America to find them, and yet people always see them here.
Is it a signifier for something?
Also, take note, it's on a railway track. And a railway track, you could maybe argue was liminal. It was an in-between area, and that's a big clue.
Oh, it's a southeastern train.
The big black cat. It's called ABCs, alien big cat.
What?
And
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a clue to the idea that this is a diamond and not an actual cat.
Do we have acronyms for all of this?
No.
Okay.
Wait. So
Next
you
slide.
say that all these things are daemons?
Yes.
Oh, they actually the thing.
It's all religious.
They're elusive, you can't track them down, they have a kind of liminal quality, another worldly quality. People keep seeing them, but they can't prove them.
Yeah.
So basically, it's my love life right there. So
Next slide, please.
my next husband is going to be a daemon.
Next slide.
Yes.
Yeah, get the next slide up.
Playing the video.
Oh, this is a bird.
This is technically known as Mummurations.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
And I've seen smaller scale. Woo!
That's great.
He said, you probably can't hear very clearly, but he says it's like a huge monster in the sky. And you do get, when you're watching it, you get the impression that it's something, it's not lots of things, it's one thing that's expressing itself through lots of things. Now, in the same way that when we saw the cloud was it was particles of water or whatever, moisture, but as a group it starts to express itself as something else, something underneath it, or something floating within it, manifesting, using it. In the same way that we could say that we are kind of like that, because if you take all our cells in our body individually, they're just blood cells or flesh cells, but they manifest as a person, as a human. And in the same way, the individual birds might not necessarily be aware of the thing that they seem to be manifesting here collectively.
How does that
go on?
What about shoals of fish?
Yeah,
Same thing.
Yeah, sure, the fish do the same thing. I mean, some people suggest it's a kind of a dance or a kind of ritual that they do. People don't know.
Is it like football hooligans outside the stadium?
You could suggest that maybe people do something very similar. But the point is,
Do you not think that, as Rachel said, it was like a failure of our ability to recognise individuality of this process?
Well,
we simplify it.
sorry, say that again?
It's a failure of our ability to recognise the individuality of this process. So we see it as this rock, but what it is us. But we see the smoke as
With the same
we recognise a face, but what it actually is. It's like particle.
Well,
It's very
yeah.
easy to say it looks like, and this is the reason like vision has been a thing for like you create a process
Personify
and
the entire
idea
process.
because it makes things seem simple and it identifies things, but what actually is incredibly complicated.
But you said the other way around. You say it's,
It is.
well, no, you could say that it's not necessarily, because why would they all be moving in the same way?
Because of air currents conditions and like.
Well, no, but they don't do it all the time. They do it
No,
at
I
certain
think the
times.
thing about this particularly is that there's no reason for them to do it, and the only theory that I've known is a cross version, and they just enjoy it.
Or maybe we don't understand why they are doing it.
Oh, that's certainly true. We don't understand why they do it.
And
but-
there probably is a reason.
People do, like if you look at the YouTube video, people are really amazed by it and they get a certain feeling from
Because it is amazing.
this phenomenon. Yeah, exactly. And so
So it's all
there's a thing about experiencing
True that.
this thing. And this is a very good, interesting thing about Daimons is that they are maybe in between fiction and non-fiction, in between objective and subjective. It's not about, it's not about, it's definitely something to do with human perception, but also about experiencing kind of the world and life and being alive. It's like I think you have to play it.
Stargazers have a big mystery on them.
This happened in 2009 in Norway when Barack Obama was visiting some conference. I think he was going to pick up his peace prize.
It's a honest fuel speculation that it was anything from alien invaders to a new phenomenon. Alex Marquardt was from Boston.
Basically, you can't really see it too well, but
Whoa.
Wow.
a weird spiral appeared in the sky. It was actually very big, and there are some really very clear pictures of it. If you go online and have a look.
So if you actually a Norwegian person, then you've got
So, apparently the explanation that was given, and there's always an explanation that was given because people would need to explain the strange things they see. The explanation given was there was a rocket that the Russians had sent up, which had kind of like spiraled out of control and had given off a weird kind of effect of a spiraling thing. But still, it had a...
That's easily verified. You just look up whether there's a rocket.
Well, they said that they had sent up a rocket, but
it's
to the point with diamonds, it's the same with UFOs, there's always an explanation you can give for something.
True. It is posted before they launch a rocket, whether they're going to launch a rocket.
Apparently they did, and they admit that they sent up a rocket.
Okay. So,
But that's an explanation you can give, if you want, but you can give explanation for everything, you can explain away.
but it can also be posted before the event, and then you can say, oh yeah, it was scheduled for this time and date. Yeah, but that's-
They admitted that there was a rocket, they said we had a rocket that went
Okay.
up.
Yeah. Alright.
They won't deny it.
Gotcha.
Next slide, please, Lewis. Okay, play it. This is Ivory Coast, I think 2009 or maybe 2011.
Holograms.
It's really bad footage, it's like a really old mobile phone.
And no, not it. It's a nuke. That's a hologram.
So this is, if you go on YouTube, this is put down as the Virgin Mary is here.
I mean, they really.
It's the Virgin Mary.
Where's it?
You can explain this as just certain atmospheric effects that the sun does with moisture. But look at the crowd and listen to the crowd and how they react.
Wait. My question is, why are they looking now? Is it difficult to see? Is it a particularly bright light already?
It's not very good footage anyway.
You
got another.
It's down on YouTube with the Virgin Mary, and that's the important thing.
Same technology here that is the International Space Station.
Okay, next slide, Lewis.
Well, hold on, I thought that was more for
Virgin Mary.
Virgin Mary.
It's not.
It's not obvious. Research.
Is that what I'm supposed to be playing?
Just fine. This was recent. Well, actually, this wasn't recent. This was a while ago. For some reason, they said it was recent about a week ago. They said this strange city appeared in the cloud. This is done. There's no corroborating evidence of this, and there's only one angle of the film. And some people say it's a common, well, not a common, but it is a sort of a mirage type thing you see to do with atmospheric effect. But example of the city in the sky, and it's daimonic in that it's, although it's not personified, this is a city rather than a thing, a creature. Next one, please, Lewis. Next one. Next one, Lewis. Okay, so you have elves in Germanic, Northern Europe countries, in Spanish countries, or in South American. You have Duende, which are exactly the same.
Oh,
Sorry? Well, in South America you have Duende.
then all of the Spanish people.
Say Duende?
Yes.
Okay, so Duende. In South Africa you have the Tokolosh. This is a picture of a Tokolosh that someone actually caught from David Sun in South Africa. The Tokolosh is a small magical being with a top hat that does magical things and can turn itself invisible. Next slide please, Lewis. How you feel? I did trim this earlier, but okay, see clearly the Duende hiding in the bushes. Note this sideways walk like a crab. The pointed hat. Do you see that? So, is it a very small person or a child with a weird costume on? What I thought was interesting this is about the sideways walk. I was doing acid with this Welsh sort of hippie guy in the 90s at some point. He told me, we were talking about ketamine, he said to me that he'd done a lot of ketamine and he had met these elves that had taught him how they can step into other dimensions and travel through space and time dimensions. And they did it, and he said it was very simple. It was kind of like a sideways jump. Like he said when he came down. Next slide, please. Okay, so most of the ideas I'm talking about come from the book Daimonic Reality by Patrick Harper, where he talks about the idea of diamonds being in between fiction and non-fiction. So it's not really important about understanding whether they exist or don't exist, but to understand that they live in between them. And this kind of idea that they inspire wonder and the feeling of being alive, or a mysterious quality that the world has. And they're in between objective and subjective. He talked about pixelation. So one of the things that elves or pixies do, pixies being a sort of West Coast name for elves, is they have a habit of stealing your keys. Yeah, Cornwall, that's what they say. So what they do is they have a habit of stealing your keys or your passport or your tickets just when you need them. And then what happens is you find your keys or your passport or your tickets where you knew you'd already looked
In your pocket.
later on. And you knew you'd looked in that place, but I looked there and it wasn't there. And this is a very good indication that you've been pixelated. Like the pixies have stolen this thing, these liminal things, keys being liminal, tickets being liminal, passports being liminal. They'd stolen them to say, yeah, we're liminal people, we're liminal creatures. Like they're taking this and they're trying to make a point, and they're putting them back somewhere that you looked to make a point that this was not just you losing something.
So pixelation has nothing to do with like projecting.
No. Also, people get abducted. A lot of the Bigfoot has been known to abduct people and then return them, or abduct people and not return them. Aliens have a habit of abducting people. In fairy lore, fairies abduct people. People, the idea of being fairy-led, or away with the fairies, the Irish say that someone was taken away and is in now in a fairyland. The idea of forgetting and remembering is similar to this, being that with the conscious and unconscious, when you forget something, it's taken out of it's abducted from your conscious mind into the unconscious. And then remembering, in the same way that you find your keys again from where they disappeared, you remember the thing that you couldn't remember. And you think, well, how do I remember something? Where does it go? And it disappears out of my mind. And how did it come back? And it pops back into my head.
So it's because we don't use one of our brains.
What it does mean is a consciousness bias.
We should take
So we have conscious and unconscious, but we have a bias towards consciousness. And so we always think about things in consciousness, we don't think about how things are stored in unconscious. Like when you drive and when you tie your shoelaces, these are unconscious things that you do.
I think it has a lot of context as well. Like the context of our reality is very, very limited. We often need grounding elements, and as we get into an increasingly I guess, segregated world, we might need a certain amount of consciousness to hold us sane.
This could be the consciousness bias. Other than, because you don't want to live in a world of dreams, or you don't want to bring too much.
Or a world of where it's reduced. Like we need to have that element of hope, of mystery to make it.
I would say that the Daimonic is exactly that, to remind you of an experience of being alive,
Right.
and the mysteriousness of the otherworldly quality.
Yeah. Existentials of fuck you, basically.
Sorry?
Existentials of fuck you.
No, but in all seriousness, it is a little bit of a need in a society like ours to grasp something.
Larger than us.
But also to keep an open mind that we might not. We've had this discussion about scientific facts, objective. This is what is actually happening. Commemoration is so inspiring. We don't know why they do it.
Yeah.
But we feel like it's something special.
No, but yeah, but demonic being this liminal space between fiction and reality. It's an escapism in a way, but it's also keeping an open mind to the truth. I mean, not all this might be nonsense. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's about keeping a state of mind where you're not completely close to the idea that you know.
I think that's the consciousness bias, that there's a bias towards rationality and science. And
Well, true, but if you look at
saying that they're true and they're like the future, that's also bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bias in the
no, I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying they live in between truth and not true.
No, but your assertion is the opposite.
No, what I mean, because there's a bias towards proof and science and reason and consciousness, then I will promote the other side.
Yeah.
So
Reality isn't a bit more like the Roscoe space or something. Like the clouds could be unshaped because we know places we make places.
That's the scientific.
But you're also using a language of westernized philosophy and religion to define it. So it's not like you're proposing a totally outside perception. You're using a format that already exists.
next slide. Seminar. Next slide.
In our first lecture, we learned about the domestication of the what? No, I've got a question. You've all been speaking.
Okay, yeah, domestication of the potato.
Yeah, so we don't know when that happened.
When was the domestication of the potato?
No, we would never clarify. And then we're learning about space. We know that a few people have been forgotten, like guys who were 1920s. and then when we were learning Turkish script, we learned about how memory is stored on the right hand side of the brain.
Allegedly.
Yes, but it's one side of the brain that we know, and there's another side of the brain that is kind of like more logical construct.
Okay.
So where do you think these daemons are?
Where?
Brain. Yeah.
In the brain.
Yeah.
Well, I reject the. I mean, I think the idea to say that we store memory in the left or right hand side of the brain is not true. The science does not
Yes,
know
it
what
is.
memory is. Science does not know
Yes,
what memory
it
is or how it's stored.
Science can never prove it.
People that have got accidents with bits got taken out.
Okay, wait, so let me stop you there. So they know that in things like memory or certain activities you do, certain parts of the brain light up on an EEG scanner. Yes, but that doesn't say that they know why or how memory is stored. Is it stored as data? Is it stored as binary? Is it stored as images? How is it stored? Is it stored as little chemical things that represent a memory of my childhood?
Well, it's good that we don't know, because that way we can research
So
it,
that we don't know.
rather than staying in the...
I saw a lecture recently at Goldsmiths where a psychologist was saying we know that certain parts of the brain light up when you do certain things, but that's as far as it goes. People do not know how it works at all. And it's a suggestion that it isn't, like it might manifest around the brain, but it might not necessarily be to do with the brain. It might come through the brain in the same way that television doesn't contain little people that run around and do things. It has stuff coming through it. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is a jinn. So in Middle East, instead of elves or pixies or duende, you have jinn. It's basically exactly the same thing. Most of the Middle Eastern people that I've spoken to still believe in jinn. They believe in jinn. They have a kind of. It's usually seen as quite a negative thing. Although when you ask them, they say, yeah, there are good jinn. The king of the bad jinn is Shaitan or something, which is Satan.
Like gin tonics in the universe and everything.
No.
No?
But like what? Gin and tonics in like the universe and everything? Possibly. I can't remember. I've read it a long time ago.
And we also know how to write it in Turkish and Arabic.
One of the things that jinn are said to do, and in the same way in Ireland, there's some sort of folklore that says that if you see a whirlwind, you're supposed to salute it, because inside the whirlwind is an elf or a fairy. In the same way, when you see a dust devil in the desert, or a sand devil in the desert, like a spinning mini tornado of sand, this is how the jinn travel. Because they're invisible, you just see the manifestation of the particles outside. Next slide, please. Play the film. I love watching tornado stuff on YouTube. I've watched quite a lot. And one of the things I got from watching tornadoes is you have a sense that they're alive. Obviously, scientists can dispute that, but there's definitely a kind of feeling of something that, although it is to do with pressure and debris, it does seem to move and act as though it's alive. It seems to have personality.
Like Mummuration.
Like Mummurations. Next slide, please. Play the film. So, this is a guy in his car and he's saying to his wife, he's looking at a tornado that's miles off and it's not coming in his direction and she shouldn't be worried. And he's sitting in his car park somewhere. She's like a bit concerned and he's saying, yeah, don't worry, it's okay. He's saying, oh, it's not even a big tornado. It's like and almost as if the tornado heard him and responded as if to say, oh yeah. Suddenly it starts approaching again nearer and looks as if he starts hitting his car. and he says, "I love you" to his wife, which is probably not a good thing to say if you don't want to be married. But it's okay, it's just kind of fuzzy. Next slide, please. Play the film. Okay, never cut someone up on the road. See why? This white car clearly cut someone up. Did you, and you would get taken away by a tornado if you do that. Don't do it. Where did the car go? Just like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, taken away to Kansas. This woman is red. I don't know where she appeared from. I don't know. Next slide, please. Never cut someone up. Play the film. This was 2011 in East Coast somewhere. It's a hay devil. Do you have dust devils, sand devils, hay devils? Again, when I watch this, you kind of get the feeling that it's something. It's a thing that's moving across. Sorry?
Tornado.
Yeah, but you get the impression, I mean, it helps with the sound of it, but you get the impression that it's alive.
Where is the difference that we're drawing between other meteorological phenomena and tornadoes? Where is it on that line?
Personality.
Okay, so arbitrary.
Next slide, please.
That's a tricky one.
Shaman. Shamans are daimonic people. You get daimonic people. They're in between the spirit world and the human world, and they act in the same way as daimons. They send messages to the spirits and the gods, and they bring things back.
So my foot of Wittgenstein.
Sorry?
The foot of Wittgenstein.
Yes. Witches are the same. Witches are their part in the kind of world of spirits and mysteriousness.
So, again, we're in two different odds here, where shamans are a recognized sect of religious culture, which is not so much.
Sorry?
Witches aren't kind of received in a common way.
Shamans aren't. What, in Korea they are? Predominantly shamans in Korea are women. Or
He's talking generally, like shamans have a
Historical.
respected historical
no, they
value.
don't. What, in Europe? No, they don't.
Absolutely. Like Tibet.
Yeah, in Africa, yeah, not in Europe.
Well, we're not talking about Europe specifically.
They used to be in
Generally,
Europe.
There's no culture where witches have the same status as some cultures that shamans do. They are
mythical beings.
Like Mongolia shamans.
Well, I don't think the shamans were very respected by Christian culture. I think the Christians is anything they...
You say you're Christian, because prior...
Well, I think witches were shamans, but there were the shamans from the old religion that became witches. Witches is like the daemones, the daemon becoming
and you think we've
demon
worked out
in the same way shaman becomes witch. Which means evil, right?
Have we
Evil
worked out
person,
the witches
as you can see here, sorry?
And we've worked out the witches, because given that you don't have a lot of conversation about witches recently, does that mean that as Christianity has...
It's still conversation about witches in Africa constantly. People are burned as witches. In Saudi Arabia, if you say you're a witch, they'll execute you.
Yeah, but then shamans aren't. There's the called shamans, and they're not. They're gone to you for help.
In Korea, you can get away with being a shaman. I'm not sure about Saudi Arabia.
Well,
Some of Africa will stone you to death.
Africa is a shaman, you can be still be respected.
You can, in some places.
Australia is a shaman.
We're
If
saying,
you're a
we're
witch,
saying it's
you'll get
mixed.
stoned alive.
Well, yeah,
Between
yeah,
shaman and witch.
And also then you look at sort of kind of voodoo culture, and then being a witch is totally acceptable. So, yeah.
Well, empowering, especially for a lot of women in voodoo culture, absolutely.
You can talk yourself up.
But you're effectively, we're talking about that, they're effectively a priest or priestess in voodoo culture who's a shaman. You're dealing with someone, a daimonic person in between the spirit
So
world.
is a priest the same thing?
Yes, but it's part of a Christianized religion. But yeah, of course.
Okay, so
Someone
priest,
that's intermediary between.
so a priest and our cloud.
But the difference between a priest and a witch is that the witch is more wild, right?
Why?
Priest is kind of accepted. Even when in
The
Korea,
difference is that the witch is a woman.
yeah, well, the idea of women
Unless
priests,
you're in
you don't
Harry
say
Potter.
priestess, it's a bit too pagan, but you say women priests. But yeah, the witch, the idea that the old religions, that women were far more powerful in the old religion, priestesses were far more common in pagan times. Christians didn't like that, which is why you get the witch
You
persecution.
didn't have the word priest.
You're not really.
That was the term that was used to describe someone that preached.
But when we talk about women priests, we say women priests and don't say priestess in this country.
No, because
there were men.
priests that comes from the Christian religion.
There were men.
There were in pagan times
there
you
were
had orators of like spirituality.
Oracles.
Like in Harry
A
Potter.
female priest would be
They
a
weren't
priestess.
described.
No, I mean.
Female priest would be a priestess. We never use that word.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, they have
what-
Harry
next
Potter as
slide,
well. They
please.
have learning switches in
Next
there.
slide.
Is it just a matter of
No, I don't.
Next slide.
It's about going
This is a Korean shaman doing stuff. Let's film. Let's film.
easy. It's not how much you know. It's how
I
much
did
you
trim
know.
these bits.
This is an exorcism. It's like yoga.
You got gin tonics there. Ah, of course you got gin tonics. What else would you be drinking? Of course. The only drink.
Hello, new people, by the way.
Hello. How are you?
Religion.
Sorry?
It's a secret gin tonic.
Oh, it's free.
Yeah,
Korean religion of what?
I know how to do this. Spread them as loud as you can. High in the sky. I love gin tonic.
And it's just kind of indigenous Korean religion.
Yeah?
Most Korean religions speak about. Well, I mean, it's the old religion.
Hold on, what is this? She's got a knife in her hand. That's a
It'd be a
knife.
secret, wouldn't it?
The Buddhists, when they went through China, they skinned alive with a previous Taoist shape.
Secret gin tonic.
Hey, next slide.
You know, I know.
What happens to the rest of them?
Secret gin tonic.
It just goes on. Next slide. Wait,
Yeah, we all know. That's the point.
Oh, you might have to skip
That's
this.
why
This is
that's
Bob
why
Marley.
when you come to the lectures.
Um,
It's affirmation. All it is.
I tuned in, it'll take a long time to get to the bit on the show.
Yeah,
Do you want to
that's
watch?
why I'm here.
Maybe like 2 minutes.
All my friends
Yeah.
know that.
Okay, so
And
there's
these
a-
I've known them a long time.
What happened is there was an election going on in the 70s in Jamaica, and there was a democratic left-wing party that was in power, and there was a right-wing government that was trying to get into power. They were basically backed by the CIA. He wanted to turn Jamaica into into a sort of American place to pass through drugs and guns and God knows what. Right?
So you already know.
Lewis, what are you doing? Lewis,
What?
well, we're not watching Bob Marley anymore.
I want to go to the point.
Okay, so go back to the thing we were watching, which is Bob Marley,
Here we
and
go.
then skip it to about.
Just do it.
No, that's not Bob Marley. That,
Wait,
Lewis,
You said 2 minutes.
this isn't Bob Marley.
Still in the machete.
That,
Identify your signature.
that,
wow. I mean,
No woman, no cry.
play, and then skip
Can you
to
show
about.
2.
That's
That's
it.
now. Yeah.
That's 3:46.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, in English, the word two is like.
He's talking about a machete.
Okay, so there's an election, and there was basically lots of violence that was going on because the left wing and right wing, the parties were basically both had gangsters that were trying to help them get power, and there was a lot of stuff going on, and it was getting to be quite a problem. And so Bob Marley, who had been someone who tried to assassinate him a while before, he had fled away to England. He was living in a squat in Brixton, and so they asked him to come back and do this concert for us to bring these two guys.
Is that on Facebook or YouTube?
Yeah, it was next up.
Next up, over.
What's part now?
Email.
No, you're gonna have to go back a little bit. Skip to it.
You can email it to me.
Yeah, maybe there. No, back a bit more. Back a bit. Okay, so basically they had asked him to come back and do a concert to kind of bring people together to have some peace of mind, stop the people fighting. So during the concert, Bob Marley decided he's going to get the left wing politician, the right wing politician to come up on stage, and they're going to hold hands together above his head to kind of show that they shouldn't be like killing each other because of the election. Blah 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 blah.
Which is misguided. Yeah, totally misguided.
Not helping the politics.
Yeah, thousands of people died. Because essentially it was like a street war, so both parties were like getting people to fight each other in different territories in Jamaica.
Yes.
Like it was a war zone, and then these people are essentially the biggest gangsters.
Right, here he's saying you get two politicians to come up on stage and hold hands.
Bob Marley. And like we didn't
Are you watching? You've seen this code, someone said. You know what happens next? That happens. See that? He jumped up and lightning struck the stage. Now, if you've seen this documentary about Bob Marley where Bunny Wailer and his wife also talk about him being a clairvoyant, him having supernatural powers, and he's certainly one of his songs, Natural Mystic, talks about that. Next slide, please. Lewis.
Wait, hang on. Lightning tricks escape.
You missed it. I did point it out. You missed it.
But how are all the electric
Well, it's gone up again.
I don't know, but it did. You saw it. You missed it.
There you go.
See that? That's lightning striking the stage.
The amps are working, right?
You want to see it again?
Yeah, do it again. Just looks like all the electrics keep working.
I saw a streak of lightning through the footage.
Also,
You can hear it on the thing. You can hear it.
Structure in the fucking
There was look again.
in Jamaica.
It seems
It's like from it probably hit the top.
all
That's
the
Jimi
amps.
We're still on the subject of shamans, right?
All the apps are doing the work.
Jimi Hendrix, famous concert. What are you doing, Lewis? So Jimi Hendrix?
I can do it unless it's
Never mind.
Okay, let's watch carefully.
asphyxiate.
Some of the lightning.
When he jumps
The
up.
lightning. It's just
Here he comes, jumping.
Now,
Whoa!
Thank you. Lightning strike the stage. Next slide, please.
Switch the stage.
Next slide.
Right to the top of the like.
FYI,
From this video, I think it's just a reflection of light. I mean, it's just,
play video.
lightning struck a stage
Enjoying it.
and knock out the control.
it's, yeah, it's like from the stage. But
Can you put it forward like maybe 50 seconds? About 50 seconds forward.
Nice race, right?
It's strike at the moment, he jumps up.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe
Go on. Go.
Oh, you come for this?
Okay, so this is a famous concert, I think in London somewhere, Victoria maybe. Jimi Hendrix, he puts his guitar down on the floor, covers it in lighter fluid, when you watch it away, kisses it,
You didn't plan.
lights a match, and sacrifices it in a shamanic way. Next slide, please.
Oh,
Wait, so what does it say?
Okay, so where's
Yeah, where are we going there?
Next slide, please. Shamanic Dogs.
How long must you sing the
Wait,
song?
no,
Might not be able to get it quiet. We need to listen to this.
No, come on.
Shush.
No.
The baby's crying. You're not gonna. This is going to be.
Oh yeah, that's so much better.
We're getting down the rabbit hole, man.
Oh no.
It's just a fucking
Baby was crying, and now it's not. Shamanic Dog. With the baby. Next slide, Lewis.
Okay, that's not
Oh.
Shamanic.
Whoa!
Right,
Magic, it sort of danced and sung.
It didn't dance.
Next slide.
It hooted.
No, next slide.
That's Who Dog.
What?
So the psychology, we
Words.
get our mind.
You want the dog again! You want the dog again!
Bro, you're getting weak.
Hey,
You want
word.
the dog again!
In psychology, there's an idea about the daimonic being a part of the personality.
Yeah, Westernized
fans talked about
philosophy.
Daimon, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Based
He
specifically
says
on
that,
ancient Greek philosophy.
when you perceive an occurrence which is attributed to the influence of divine presence, like when if it's a horse and it gets scared by something, or a cat sees something you can't see in the room, this is this Daimonic, this is this Daimonics, so the idea of an invisible thing that's kind of freaking out an animal that you're with or something like that. The pre-Socratic Greek philosopher Empedocles, whoever, says that the Daimonic is the psyche or the soul. Rollo May, who's a sort of famous psychologist, says the Daimonic is any natural function which has the power to take over a whole person. So it's something to do with your personality. The Daimonic need to be creative or destructive, but it's normally both. So the idea that the Daimonic is something that acts upon you in maybe good ways, but also maybe bad ways, because it wants to do something with you. It wants to change you in some way, or it has some plans for you. Daimonic is not an entity, but refers to a fundamental archetypal function of human experience and existential reality. So again, the strangeness of the world is something that's trying to make you understand there's something slightly more than your everyday life. It's constructive and destructive. It ultimately seeks to promote totality of the self. So it has ideas about what it wants you to be, and it will take over you and do things with your life to change it in this way. Jung says that the Daimon throws us down, makes us traces to our ideals and traces convictions, traces to the selves we thought we were, traces to the selves we thought we were, that it has plans for us. Next slide, please.
Like God, then.
But it's intermediary between gods and plural. Julian James, in The Origin of Consciousness and the Breakdown of Bicameral Mind, says that, from 1976, his idea was that the consciousness that we have now are different from the ancient people's consciousness, and you can get an idea from this in sort of Greek, sort of the Odyssey and stuff like that, when people seem to have direct confrontations with deities or gods or daemons. They seem to talk to them directly, which doesn't seem to happen now so much. And he says that he thinks that what we have now is meta-consciousness, that we're aware of being consciousness, but ancient people didn't have this. This might be to do with the two halves of the brain that you mentioned earlier on, and that they're kind of connected, but maybe the connection before in ancient people was less so. The corpus.
Well, that's evolution, isn't it?
No, that's not true at all. The Odyssey was written as a parable when it was written.
Yes.
It wasn't written as like this contemporary description of people's minds. It was written as a philosophical adventure like the Bible.
And they said that specifically.
Yeah.
And they said that specifically. Or is that your interpretation or an interpretation? Is that definitely a fact?
I think it's so pretentious for people to assume that their minds are
to assume, but are you saying? I don't know. I'm not saying. But are you saying is that a fact?
Maybe come to Shaman.
Or you're just saying you think.
Maybe come to Shaman.
No, but so what evidence do you have that was not like it was written in times it was high literature?
But if we don't know why it was written, then we have to take it on face value.
No, we don't. No, of
course we don't. Okay, so in the Bible,
so
God speaks
Odyssey,
directly to
or it was
people.
written by
Darwin say.
Iliad. It was written by like a well-respected
He was a poet, actually.
writer, and the literature was preserved for a long time. I was like representing the Norway.
Well, we can interpret it as the
and
other
also it interacts with the gods, so it's like the purpose of the same
Darwin.
Bible, it serves the same purpose.
Evolution.
So anyway,
Nothing about this.
the point is that Julian James was trying to say that maybe there was a story about a Roman legion that was trying to cross a flooded plain, but they didn't know whether it was safe to cross. So they were unsure about whether to go into the water. They didn't want to wash away, and they saw suddenly the god Pan up to his knees in the water, sort of dancing around. And they took this as a sign from a god, saying that it's okay to cross the river. It's not too deep. And so the idea Julian James is saying that these were people that they weren't aware of their conscious decision-making process. So they had to be told by some kind of entity that would tell them. Come to them. Maybe it was just their subconscious minds, but they didn't interact in the same way with the subconscious minds as we do, as when we're driving cars or tying our shoelaces. So it had to be an intermediary which explained to them, no, it's okay to cross the river. Go on.
But if you look at the archaeology of the time, like people, the same way they don't have evidence of us tying our shoelaces or driving their cars, because people that wrote the language and controlled the discourse back then weren't the people that fucking tied their shoelaces and drove their cars.
I don't understand.
What do you mean? No, so the people that wrote this stuff are you referencing what you're using
Julian
now
James.
as evidence? No, any of this. Well, not Julian James specifically, but like the ancient Greek culture of like the dynamic, Daimonics or Daimonics. There you go. But is like evidence of the fact that it was controlled by a particular discourse, which isn't necessarily true. Doesn't obviously great.
It's not necessarily true. I think he's saying that could be a reason why you get stories like that. That maybe people thought in that way.
Stories. Yeah.
So
I'm not saying it's definitely
you had
true.
a young cook, right?
Sorry.
You had a young cook. That's like that,
Yes.
didn't you? How are you resolving the young kind of concept of living within one's mind and exploring one's mind from an internal perspective versus having it be an external factor?
I think Jung said that I think he was one of the people that started talking about the idea of there not being such a dividing line between the internal and the external.
Well, what he was saying,
The subconscious would actually permeate into the outside world of the collective unconscious. And that you could then, this is why he wrote a book about UFOs, saying that this was something which wasn't just subjective, but seemed to be objective sometimes. No. Is that what you mean?
no.
We finished.
I don't really understand what you mean. So let's move on to the next slide.
Thank you.
Oh, right, go back. Actually, go back.
Oh,
Then he says
you're
that,
not going to do this. You're not going to do this.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh,
With waypoints.
yeah.
He said
I'm
this
ready
is
to
something
go.
that started around 1800 BC, and it was a slow process. Next slide, Lewis. He also said that.
Good, this is good.
This is good. This is better.
And Julian James also said that he thought that this change in consciousness, this change in consciousness might have been something to do with language.
What's liminal? Liminal.
Liminal is in between us. Limen is Latin for the threshold. I decided I'd like to do that.
Oh, just to start that.
These are the characteristics that I decided that Daimons have.
This is yours.
You made this diagram.
This is Drew's
Just
diagram.
linking up 5 things with a symbol.
This is the best side so far.
Diamonds or daimons are liminal, they're in between. Remember the cat was on the in between the gods and the humans, but also they happen to be, they appear in twilight, or they in between. They happen when you're half awake and half asleep, or when you're hallucinating, which is kind of like half dreaming, half conscious. And they're shape shifting, they're always changing their shape. They used to be witches, but now they turn into UFOs, and then they turn into something else. They're always changing their clothes, they're contradictory. They don't quite make sense, you can't pin them down. They appear as one thing, then they appear as another, they appear as something that's real, and then they appear as something that's not real, and then they get disproved, and then they appear again. They're always contradictory and elusive, you can't pin them down. You can't grasp onto them. They're always going to be slightly like the Higgs boson. It's always slightly out of reach. You can't quite pin it down. Or the idea of memory or of consciousness. And they're hungry. In that, they want you to acknowledge them. They won't go away. They could just go. You think, well, why do they bother us? Well, because they want your attention. The Bigfoot wants to appear. Nessie wants to appear. True. It wants to.
Why haven't you written that on there? Sorry, you haven't written that on there.
Hungry.
Oh, hungry.
They want you to acknowledge that they exist. That's why they
How would you read this chart?
like that.
Which way round?
Which bits connect what?
It all connects together.
You have a point.
So it's just a cluster.
So why the circle?
Next slide.
Why the circle?
Because it's all the totality of something.
So it's just a collection of
Terence
words.
McKenna talked about machine elves, and when he did lots of DMT, strange enough, he saw fractal elves of self-forming elf machines, and he described them as parts. They're like dual self-dribbling basketballs, you put dribbling in them. They come pounding towards you, they'll stop in front of you, and they'll vibrate, and jump into your body, and then jump back out again, and the whole thing is going in high-speed motion where it could be presented with thousands of details per second, and these things are saying, don't give in to astonishment. You've got to go nuts with how crazy it is, and they say, don't do that, pay attention to what we're doing. What they're doing is making objects to the point of seeing instructions into existence. They offer things to you saying, look at this, but this is, he can only experience this when he's taking,
DMT.
Yeah, DMT. Next slide, please, Lewis.
Whereas you don't need DMT to do it. You can do it.
Some people can do it without it.
No, I'm not listening to it. You don't.
Rosemary Norton, and we're going on to
I experience it all the time.
you want to keep or Rosemary Norton with going to need someone to
Oh, really?
She's an artist and witch from Sydney in an area called King's Cross. Next slide, please. She washes her hands. She's a great artist. She was omnisexual, have sex with everyone, including gay men.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we want her.
She was
That's
constantly
disgusting.
persecuted by
The gay men must have had some challenges.
She raped him.
That's what I remember seeing it.
She's
She
a
was
rapist.
constantly harassed by the police. They really hated her. And this was in the 50s, and the
What's her
Australians
name?
were very conservative. Then they hated her.
What was her name?
Constantly
Australian
harassed.
police
Kept
now.
that. She wouldn't give up, and she terrorised
name?
went to Canada. Next slide,
What's
please.
her name?
Rosaline Norton.
Rosaline North.
Marina Warner, in her book Strange and Magic, talks about talismans, jinns, and transformation and desire, and the idea of grappling with this has been a principal interest for years, even to a certain extent, my cause, to put the study of imaginative structures back into the brain, confronting important issues. Not to think of imagination and fantasy as being childish, which dismiss it, or just dismiss them as having no approach from reality. Next slide,
He's
please.
reading that. Gee.
What I'm trying to get onto now is like how maybe we could try to use, or if we were daimonic ourselves, we could maybe use this to maybe be more radical, or maybe to kind of fight.
Paris to
like
me.
that. So she also says, the older you get, as you get older, the play of memory and imagination becomes a condition of existence. Often you can't remember whether you've read something or heard it or watched it or actually experienced it. At least Lewis will understand what I mean by that, that as you get older you start to get slightly confused about where you saw something. Was it a dream, or was it something you read, or something you saw in a film? And this idea of how you experience the world comes into play, and this could be a daimonic kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Why would Louise be familiar with this?
Because
Why is it
we're old.
diamond? Why is it diamond?
I'm
young.
27.
Why is it diamond?
Because you have to join the dots.
Yeah.
Lee, you have to join the dots.
Why you
Hey,
need
man,
that.
it's fine, so you're too busy chatting and saying.
Well, explain that.
No.
You're, Lee,
Then explain what this is. That you're
Then explain.
taking
Lee,
Okay, so we talked about how
Tom,
diamonds
just
were
connect the dots.
intermediaries between
No,
the gods.
this
See,
is
I think
fake
explain
radicalism.
this talk over
Fake
there.
radicalism.
Yeah, you have to connect the
Not
dots.
fake realism.
It is fake
I don't
radicalism.
think
Let
it's
fucking talk.
not.
Tom, you have to forget
Okay, so
the
diamond
dots.
is the idea of the intermediary between the gods and the humans, or maybe between the subconscious and the conscious mind.
Why is not Tom?
Suspend your disbelief fucking 5 seconds.
Tom, let him
Oh,
finish.
Drew, that's a lot from you.
Hey!
You're
So it's an idea of
Paramount.
experiencing the world.
Drew.
And it's connected with experiencing the world.
How did it
It's
relate to
activity.
Darwin?
If you touch your hand, or your hand.
I don't need someone to tell me if it's done through fucking like the gods or like it could be done through reality.
For instance, Paris to me is multiply layered to my recent reading so forth, but still the Paris that I read about and I love, the ideas I read of Paris when I was steeped in Baudelaire and Apollinaire, neither of which I've read. I think Paris really, people, this sort of dream, this idea of Paris, where you get this idea of a place in your mind from things that you've read or things that you've experienced.
Well, you haven't read Baudelaire.
And it's not necessarily to do with the actual place, but sometimes you get the idea of the place becomes more important to you than the actual place itself. Next slide, please. Because due to the tactility, if I touch your hand, you'll feel pressure, right? But that's all you'll feel. You don't really feel much at all. You might feel that I'm touching your hand, but not much. I take my finger away and put it back again, and take it away and put it back again. Then I start to think, oh, there's an arm there. You start to feel there's someone touching you. So you build a picture in your mind of what you're touching.
And what is it connected to Daimon?
Because this is tactility. So this is the idea that what
Daimonics is not tactility. It's the opposite.
it's similar to tactility.
How is it similar?
Because tactility is the idea of you building up an impression of the world in your brain.
Where you
Tactility is
feel
the part of
it.
your brain. Yeah. So tactility
So Daimonics is the
isn't
opposite.
it's like the binary 0 and 1. When you touch, that's 1, and you take it
Yeah,
off,
but
that's 0.
Daimonics is
Tactility
not that.
is
Daimonics is
both.
not that.
Or the
I thought Daimonics was omnipresent.
sorry?
It's only omnipresent.
No.
I don't think it's on
godlike.
So what is to do with perception, to do with experience of the world. I'm saying that tactility is something that's similar.
So our experience is also
Because the experience of the world that you have is basically going on in your head. It's maybe not related to what's actually around us.
Like
That's what I mean
what?
about taking the finger on and off. It's actually the intermediary, the space in between touch, where you start to build a picture of what's there, but it's not actually what's there.
So
So maybe
Daimonics-
your whole experience is daimonic to a certain extent.
So Daimonics is what we experience between our phenomena of birds and clouds.
What I'm saying that those are examples of this idea of how you're experiencing something, and the idea of whether it exists or not is
That
irrelevant.
we see, our existence is defined.
Sorry?
Between the things that you highlighted, things that we might see as daimonic relationships, that space between, liminal space, is what defines who we are.
Well, I'm trying to say that daimonics as with tactility, is this idea of there is no objectiveness. There's an in between where you get some objective. I can touch the wall, whatever.
But technically, it is objectiveness. That's a total objectiveness.
No, it's not, because it's built in your head.
No, exactly. No.
What you're seeing right now is just information that you can see
Subjectiveness is
and
what
in your head.
individual experience. Objectiveness is shared experience.
But then you can't, unless you're a robot, you can't be objective.
It's objectiveness, not shared experience. So
Yeah, but you don't know that you're sharing the same experience as anyone else.
This is a chair. You said it's a chair. That's objective.
But we don't know it's actually there.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's an objective experience. So
Drew,
if
isn't
I
it just
touch
a
you,
similar
that is
thing?
a breach from
Because you can't be objective
to
unless
another
you're a robot.
subjective experience.
Lewis, isn't it just a similar
You
thing?
can't have any objectivity unless you're a robot. End of
Unless you're a
story.
robot.
Isn't it
Unless
just
you're a
a
robot.
Story.
Only an android and robot can
Lewis,
speak through your
how
senses.
objective-
Because you have a consciousness, everything has got to go through your
Isn't it just a
consciousness.
similar thing?
It's going through a filter of your consciousness.
For me, objective is shared subjectivity.
No, objective is what is
Similar
actually
to
there.
There's a language
falling in the
we
forest.
Closer they did.
I'm saying we both left and that it doesn't fall through. That's objective.
But we still don't know it's really there.
It doesn't matter. Objectivity doesn't have to be substantial. Objectivity doesn't
I've got a
have to be
question.
substantial.
Drew, Lewis has got a question.
Has to be agreed.
Got a question. Do you believe that if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, has it really fallen?
It depends.
No, but it doesn't matter. I think
No, but has it fallen? Yes or no?
What you said is that
Because I think that's what you're talking
it
about.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you believe in
Yes.
it. It doesn't matter that I believe in it. What matters is that we both believe that someone else believes.
Yes,
That is
I agree with that.
objectivity. So it doesn't matter whether you
We go
think
back.
that this is real. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what I think that's
we
real.
choose that.
What we think is both someone thinks that's real, and that is objectivity.
Sorry, so again,
It doesn't matter whether you believe this is a stage.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether I believe this is a stage. What is the
Someone
point is that
believes
someone thinks that this is a stage. So
Yeah.
that is a stage.
And you go
that's
like, yeah.
consensus reality.
Yeah, which is objectivity.
True.
It doesn't matter whether this is a laptop, whether I think it's worth money or whether you think it's worth money. The point is someone does.
That's consensus reality.
Drew,
Exactly, that is
Isn't it like
objective.
in law?
That is what objective means.
Like
No,
in-
it's
Drew,
That's what objective means. That's why he's Spanish or whether he is Spanish.
Hey, what about the people that go to
That's how we form our realities. I don't know if that information is real. The point is, I believe it's when you prove it's real, and I believe this is real as well. So someone believes
Most
it's
people
real.
think David Cameron's
Yeah.
a really great
Yeah.
person and he's not
Well,
really evil.
he runs our.
That doesn't make it real,
He runs
does
our reality. That's the point. So it doesn't matter whether you think David Cameron has like integrity. It doesn't matter whether I think he has integrity. The point is, someone does. We both believe that someone does.
And
So
so
now
that
he
means
runs
he
our
has
country and runs our lives.
Next slide. Oh,
Oh.
wait. Next
Oh,
slide.
we're enjoying that one.
On that note, next slide.
Second way, I would say his idea of a temporary autonomous zone was
Feels like we're in sliders.
but basically, because temporary autonomy, you're probably all familiar with this, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that you can't defeat this kind of monolithic governmental presence, but you can, and for a while, in liminal areas, elusively have a place where you can be radical. So that, I would say, argue was a daimonic idea because it's elusive. They move, squats move, and they move around before they get busted. And communes are liminal and they're contradictory. They contradict certain rules. Next slide, please. Bob Dobbs. Bob Dobbs. You know that Bob Dobbs.
Bob Dobbs.
I would say he was someone incredibly academic, and yet he tried to sell you RNA drops, which are clearly snake oil.
Bob Thompson, incredibly academic. Sorry, missed that.
So he's basically a media theorist. He follows in the line from Marshall
Media theorist
McLuhan.
would be the entire. Bob Thompson is not ever considered academic.
Well, academics won't consider him, but if you listen to him, he's without doubt academic. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And yet he'll also try and sell you RNA drops. He has different names. Bob,
This is an
no one knows what his real name is. It could be Bob Dobbs, Bob Neverett, Bob Dean, Bob Marshall, and he won't give a real name. And he also lies constantly about his life. He will never
This
give
is
you real information.
AntiUniversity
This is elusiveness and contradictoriness.
Not
So it's
yet,
both daimonic. And I think this is now, with all the information that's being held on you and things like Facebook, this is exactly what you need to do. Sorry?
You initially put me on Bob Thompson.
Yes?
Drew,
And I couldn't
is
find
this an
where he was
AntiUniversity demonstration.
Because you haven't listened to this, there's too much, you'd have to spend a year listening to the stuff.
But I haven't got anything that indicates.
I've heard something without doubt academic. I've learned a lot about media theory from it.
Drew.
About media. You haven't listened to it.
Drew.
Trust you, it's incredibly academic.
Drew.
And a lot of it was beyond me. I had to listen to it many times before I could get it. And it's deep. He follows on from Marshall McLuhan.
Drew.
He's McLuhan's, yes?
Is this an anti-university demonstration?
Yes. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Vladislav Surkov. So this is the idea that he had this idea that he tried to get Putin to back sort of left-wing things and right-wing things, and he wanted to fuck with people, basically. In the same way that Bob Dobbs does.
Was he gay?
I don't know.
What's his background?
He had an art background, and he used theory he learned from art, and he put it into sort of politics. He was working for Putin.
Yeah.
And he was basically he undermines people's perceptions of the world, and we do not know what is real and what is fake. In the same way that Daimons, we don't know if they're real or fake.
Like the football hooligans.
So are we talking about him as a
And
Daimon?
Curtis describes him as contradictory vaudeville or postmodern politics. It's the idea that he just fucks with your head.
So is he a Daimon?
He's being daimonic. Oh no.
Like the guy that was reporting on the Iraq War.
That is unstoppable because it is undefinable in the same way that demons shapeshift and they're undefinable. They keep changing.
And where is he now?
Where is he now? I don't know. But they suggested that a lot of the stuff that was happening in the place where that Malaysian plane came down.
Sinai.
No, before that.
Oh. The Indonesian.
MH3 something.
Not Indonesia, the one that
Malaysia Airways.
Donetsk?
The one in Ukraine.
Yes, Ukraine, thank you. What was going on there was to do with this guy, the way that you weren't quite sure who shot down the plane, what was going on. It was deliberately
Obfuscated.
That was
Getting there you go.
this is non-linear war. It's not like this linear war that we used to, but they're just fucking with your mind. You don't know what's going on. I think it's very much what's going on now. And the idea is not to win, but to destabilise perception.
True that.
So true.
In the Middle East, when you start fairy tale saying there was not.
The Trickster character you're after.
Yes, very much to do with tricks. Next slide, please. We're almost done.
Or stage magicians.
No.
MI5, CIA. These are tricks to people. The CIA, without doubt, are daimonic. They send spies out. They even when people are like concerned about what they're doing, they do things which they're deliberately not doing just to fuck with you.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the UFO idea of saying that the CIA invented UFOs to stop you thinking about the secret things that we're actually doing.
Sure.
The MI5 planted this cop guy that was the cop that had a relationship with some radical environmentalist.
Yeah, this is.
had a child with
had a child with her. This is daimonic because
It's not
they're
in the
sending
undeniable.
people that
Now, why is that
marry you or have kids with you.
Why is that Daimon?
Yeah.
Because it takes you back to a different place.
Because it's being tricked through. It's not. You're not being. The idea of the police was they were against the environmentalists. These are police becoming environmentalists.
So
and being environmentalists. But this guy was a radical.
How do you become demonic though?
Becoming trickster.
Because he was a trickster.
It's trickster. It's shapeshifting. This guy's shapeshifting.
So all deception is daimonic.
Sorry?
All deception is daimonic.
No,
Yes.
but I think they're using daimonic characteristics, and they're
But if I'm
basically
trying to convince
winning
you
against
that
us
something
because
is
they're
wrong,
doing
but
that. Sorry?
I'm trying to convince you of something that's different. Is that daimonic?
Yes.
It can
Is that not just manipulation?
How is it not?
It can be manipulation because
But that's what the CIA
does.
What's the difference?
That's what the CIA do, though.
I think maybe more to. I think that the guy in Vladislav.
Why is it as profound as Daimon?
Yeah.
I think that the idea. I think with the MI5 and that guy, I think they were that was more specific, and maybe you could say that was less demonic. But the guy before, the Vladislav guy, I think he definitely was
So what
demonic
you're
because he
saying
didn't
is
care about
Vladislav-
winning. He just wanted to destabilize.
So what you're saying is Vladislav is the bridge between gods and humans.
No, I'm saying that he is being Daimon. He's using some of the characteristics
So
of
why do
diamonds
we not
to
have
win
bridges
against
any
us.
longer between?
Sorry?
Diamonds
Where-
are
where-
forever.
Sorry?
These bridges between humans and gods, where have they gone?
Well, I'm just using them to.
But no, like surely Zionism hasn't done.
Okay, so no, it's fine. It's an analogy for like for manipulation and deviation.
Have gods become politicians?
Sorry?
have gods become politicians? If we're talking about blood,
No.
then
I'm just saying that they're using Daimonic characteristics. Next slide, please.
It's one time there.
Fanny Sosa. Anyone heard of Fanny Sosa?
No, who is she?
She's a radical feminist. She does like that dance thing.
Oh, yes. Woogie Woogie.
Yeah. What's it called?
Woogie Woogie.
Go on.
Belly dance.
So I'm not going to do it. Anyway,
Drew, come on, do it.
Do it.
This is an erotic dance.
Erotic dance.
Popular.
Belly dance.
And she uses it as a kind of way. So that's not as really. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, twerking. Yes.
Twerking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is right.
Anyway, she was talk recently. She was saying that she thought that she was against the idea of patriarchy in the scientific, white scientific patriarchal culture, and she said that we needed to move away from that and try to move away to an idea where we didn't have to rely on proof of things. The idea of being more imaginative. She gave me the idea she wanted vegetable avatars.
She looks like a musician.
she wanted to school up.
I didn't know she was a musician.
What?
Yeah, she was basically saying we need to use more imagination and maybe go back to a kind of childlike, imaginative quality. In the same way that I said about consciousness being a bias towards consciousness.
Giving an ID magazine, basically.
Yes. I think I was at that talk where she was in. And so this is this idea of we have a consciousness, we have a bias towards consciousness. And she's trying to say that we really need to mix this idea of dream or unconsciousness with consciousness, and maybe this idea that so that you wouldn't have to base your whole life on proof and reality, but maybe have this kind of mix where it wasn't necessarily, like this imaginative aspect. And again, this goes back to this bicameral mind, of maybe going back to this bicamerality where we could have more of an idea of a more magical way of thinking. I've no idea what that's there. Next slide, please. Okay, so I said at the very beginning, I said about love being daimonic, and so eros being the daemon of love. And so when you fall in love, it's inappropriate, usually you fall in love with inappropriate people. It's maddening, it makes you do stupid things, it takes over you and makes you do odd things. It won't leave you be, it's inappropriate in the way that Daimonics is to be inappropriate, but it's inspiration. When people fall in love, they do poetry, and they paint, and they do things, and it's inspiring. So the idea of Daimonics, being to do with inspiration, being to do, it won't necessarily do you any good because it will fuck with your life, but it will help you to inspire you to be creative, even though that might be unpleasant. Last slide, please. There's the film Gainsbourg. He's a lecherous French man that smokes a lot, a great musician though. And in the film, his diamond follows him around. And he was going to be a painter before he was going to be a musician. So the diamond burns all his paintings and burns his studio. He goes, LA. He sends him away. So he's saying, you're not supposed to be a painter. So it fucks with his life in order to get him to where he's supposed to be. And there's music obviously with this. And that's it, and I'm done.
No, do we have Q&A?
No, fucking not having a Q&A.
Well done, Drew.
Wait.
Is that a Dracula for Sesame Street? No.
It's not. It's Gainsbourg. Yeah. It's a good film though.
Hello.
What's it called?
Hello.
Gainsbourg. Is his name? He did
so we
10.
I've heard that. Yeah. Okay.
So it's the end.
Yeah. Did you stop the recording?
Yeah.
So yes, thank you very much everybody for attending Nomad ArtSchool. Please note that Rachel will probably be writing another one very soon. And if anybody has stuff to share with people, then please get in touch and talk to us and help us know something new.
How do you do it?
Thanks to Charles for the presentation.